In this video, I'm going to talk about people I have seen that have these characteristics, kind of like narcissistic and histrionic, a blend of these, and some of the things that they do. This much of my channel is going to be about this type. I've seen many times over many years, all my life really, and some of what they do can be so destructive to everybody else, even themselves. But in this one, it's going to be about what they don't see, that some others would see. They just don't see it. Okay, in this example, I'm going to set the scene at work. I think many people can relate to that, past or present. And say you're at work and there is this one person, let's say it's a woman, they're not always women, but this one woman, she is very loud. She's very loud in the way she speaks, the way she laughs, the way she dresses. Now, I'm not saying everybody should conform at all, to one set, but yeah. She wants to stand out in a big way. And she wants to, over time, you see that she wants to have all the attention on herself. And she gets it because she's so loud, and she makes sure she wears a lot of bling. She might have her hair really wild, or maybe a lot of makeup, a lot of her clothing might be even suggestive. But like I said, she's going to stand out, and she can't stand it when somebody else has even the least bit of attention. And you notice these things over time, and so some other people do, but not everybody thinks it's a bad thing. Some people notice it, but they're okay with what she does, how she is. Okay, like I said, maybe her clothing is a little bit suggestive. Maybe she has a collar that's cut way too low and shows too much. And somebody that really doesn't appreciate that, might feel even like it's kind of a little bit sexual harassment, mentions something to her and has witnesses, say in the break room, lunch room, during lunch when people are around, and says something to her about it that, that they just don't appreciate it. It's a little bit too much, or too little in this case. And so that person has witness to how it was said, how it was spoken. Well, instead of this person that has a narcissistic histrionic blend, that as I see it, you're not going to find that in any textbook, as far as I know. It's just how I see it. But she, instead of feeling, apologizing or saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize this," or something like that, instead, she takes it as a compliment. She said, "Oh, you really like my shirt?" As though she didn't even hear what was really spoken, or she just laughs real loud, and like it's a joke. She just doesn't quite get that this is not a joke. This is constructive criticism, or something similar to that. But she just goes on and she continues to do what is annoying to others. And some says she just doesn't care, but that's not it. So, do you know somebody, male or female, like that? Let's move on, and I'll give more examples. Okay, say what I have seen in this type, what I've seen personally. This type is just the way I see it. I see it as a type. That they are really good at whatever they do. Like that, they will find one thing, just one thing. They usually don't have hobbies or something like that, but one thing they're really good at, and they excel at it. Okay, whether it's for a job or for whatever reason, they do it. They excel. Now, I cannot imagine to go from there. They're good at this job, so maybe employers don't want to fire them. But imagine this type being told to work from home. I have a hard time imagining that, because they get all their what I call histrionic supply. Some call narcissistic supply when they're evil, but they get their supply, the histrionics, by getting all the attention they want. They don't care, negative or positive attention. They want it. They thrive it, and they need it, it seems like, but they really don't. Okay, so say the boss had recognized this years ago, before you even started working there, that she's very loud, she's kind of obnoxious, she dresses wrong, all the things I mentioned earlier. So he had her work from home, and all she does is come and pick up her work, and like I said, does the work from home. And she's never in any meetings, business meetings, parties, anything. She just picks up her work. She's a contract labor, let's put it that way. And as I said, she does the work from home. So you've never really seen her. She comes in quickly, picks it up, she gets it at the front desk or something like that, to where you really have never seen her at all. And most of the employees that are there at this time, they haven't either. Some might remember her from years before, but very few. Okay, but let's say that something happened. She came to pick up her work and maybe her car broke down and she had to wait for AAA or something like that to come and get it. And that's when the people who may not have ever known her hear her. She's very loud. Maybe she was wearing a coat and she takes it off and her clothes were very suggestive, provocative kind of thing. And the boss is kind of a bit worried because, a lot of that could bring about problems, the way she talks, the way she laughs. And say it's somewhere where people are always on their phone, like a Cubeville kind of thing. And she's just laughing and she's disruptive, and there are calls coming in and people need to be answering, people need to answer them, or people need to make the phone calls. And they can't because she's very loud and her voice and her laughter is like cackling. It's like a laughing hyena. I don't know how many people remember people putting it that way, but they're very loud with it. And so the boss has to say something to her, or somebody else might. And somebody else decides to do just that, is to tell her, this is wrong. We need you to be quiet. We have work to do. It's not all about you, but that type, they think it's all about them. Okay, and as I said earlier, she might just totally laugh it off. I mean, laugh loud, laughing loudly. But because really to her, it's not any kind of constructive criticism, or it might in some instances it might be just flat out insults. No, and you might think, is she dense? Does she really have a problem figuring out if people are saying things maybe politely, or then do they get more aggressive with it? Can she not understand? Is she really not that smart? All right, now the whole thing is this person doesn't seem to be getting it. What other people are saying as they're trying to criticize her, constructive criticism, or just flat out insults. And it doesn't have to be at work. It can be anywhere. It could be a new family member, somebody married into the family. It could be like you're a part of a group, whether online or offline, and that person monopolizes the conversations, thinks that everybody really likes what they're doing. I keep saying that person, but it could be a he though. And it's very obnoxious, very rude to others, very insulting even. This is the type that can be insulting if they're not getting all the attention. They could go to that, none of this is one size fits all, but they could go to that to be insulting so the attention's back on them. Like I said, they don't care if it's negative or positive attention as long as the attention is on them. Now, some might see it that way. I see it that way, but is it really that way? Is that what it is? And I keep saying that on purpose, that might not be really what it is for them, for a reason. Giving these examples is what it, after observing this type for as many years as I have, I do see that they're not getting it, but I'm seeing something more recently that has me thinking in a little bit of a different way. I can change my mind like everybody else. I do see that, but for some maybe, but for others, I think what it is instead is that they feel that somebody, that say people who are criticizing them or not, because they like this attention, that person or those people, that group, I don't like to say those people, but a group, they are actually just showing how much they love them, how much they care about them, about the narcissistic histrionic person. So to them, they might turn it around to that's love and care. And some people would say, well, constructive criticism has that component to it, and that somebody's caring, that somebody doesn't want you to be embarrassed. For them, it's a different kind, though. It's totally different. Okay, now I'm not saying this for anybody to feel sorry for them, or I'm not saying it for anybody to feel anything. I'm not giving any counseling advice, like I've said in any of my videos, but it's something I have observed, something I have noticed that really does make me wonder. Maybe they just never got the attention when they were younger, attention they thought that they, deserved. Maybe they were neglected. People say all these come from abuse. These behaviors, come from abuse. So I don't know if that would be 100%, but this one, I do wonder, if they crave that attention, they don't see it as negative because they've had too much in their lives of being thought of as in very negative ways when they were young, and they just didn't change their behavior. Instead, they exaggerated their behaviors. They did notice that got them attention, and at some point they stopped caring what kind of attention it actually was, negative or positive. As long as somebody was showing what they see inside them, that's them caring about them, feeling, showing them love and care. I could be wrong. I could be wrong in all of this, but that's just how I see it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up, and just stay tuned to this channel for more. You can click the circle icon to subscribe, or when it's rectangles to watch another video on this channel. Okay, wrapping it up.